Hello, my name is Aaron, and I have been asked to prepare a presentation on our current financial position and compare it to one of our competitors, as well as presenting you two projects we have completed recently or are currently working on. Today I will talk to you about two projects, one being the Sydney Metro, which we have completed recently, and the other being the Melbourne Metro Tunnel. The relevant information on our position versus our market competitor, CSR, has been included in the additional notes. The first project I would like to discuss is the Sydney Metro. The Sydney Metro is a project by the New South Wales Government aimed at improving connections between the Sydney Central Business District and the northern, northwestern and inner west suburbs. This will be done by constructing 66 kilometres of track and 31 metro stations connecting important centres in each area. State-of-the-art driverless trains will run along the route with 4-minute intervals between trains. A section of the project will be run underground consisting of two twin 15.5 kilometre tunnels between Chatswood and Sydenham. The entire project between Chatswood and Bankstown was valued at $11.5 to $12.5 billion. We at Boral were contracted by a joint venture from John Holland, CPB Contractors and Gelia to supply the concrete required to precast 99,746 segments, which the tunnel boring machine will place as it bored along the route. This involved the transformation of a warehouse in the Sydney suburb of Marrickville into a concrete batching facility. Over the 2019 financial year, our Australian branch brought in $3.5 billion, of which 13% was from major projects, which is roughly $456 million in just revenue, and the completion of the project meant that our return on assets ratio was doing well in 2019 at 2.63%. This result is not ideal, and we would like to have increased it to at least 5%, which would have been roughly equal to the industry value of 5.31%. However, as we all know, the floods, bushfires, and COVID-19 pandemic have been detrimental to us to the point that in 2020 we are operating at a loss of $1.138 billion, which has led our return on assets ratio to become negative 12.37%. However, it should be noted that our overall revenue for 2020 was not dropped, and that a 2018-2019 performance may be possible in 2021 and beyond, and reasons for this will be discussed later on in the presentation. The second project I would like to present is the Melbourne Metro Tunnel. This is a project by the Victorian Government aimed at connecting several existing train lines, as well as connecting the suburbs of northwestern Melbourne with those in the southeast. This would alleviate the load on the city circle and allow for 39,000 more commuters to travel during the peak periods of each day. The route consists of two twin cross-city tunnels 9 kilometres in length with 5 stations along the route. The project is valued at $11 billion and is currently ongoing. We have been contracted to supply materials such as concrete, cement, fly ash, and quarry materials. Due to the stringent fire resistance standards for concrete, we had to construct a purpose-built plant to manufacture 56,000 precast concrete segments to be put into place by the boring machine. The Melbourne Metro tunnels fall under major projects, and all major projects brought in $487 million for us in revenue in the financial year ending in June 2020. The project is still in its early stages and will be a source of revenue and expenses for the next few years. Once again, the impacts of COVID-19 were felt as the Victorian lockdown had some negative effects on our concrete production, leading to an increase in operational costs with no revenue and a 20% reduction on the previous corresponding period during lockdown, meaning that additional funds will be required to bring concrete levels back to pre-lockdown levels. Our expenses have seen a dramatic rise with the Victorian shutdown, forcing us to keep all our equipment, trucks, machinery, kilns, and plants running with no source of revenue. This has partially led our expenses to rise from $5.4 billion in 2019 to $6.739 billion in 2020. Other factors include other lockdowns, Australian bushfires and floods, as well as unscheduled maintenance and other investments. Profit to earning ratios usually aren't considered if a business is operating at a net loss, but the 2019 profit to earnings ratio is 10.6, while the 2020 ratio is 16.7. The sheer scale of the project and the amount of years it will take to complete ensures a rather stable flow of cash after Victorian lockdown restrictions ease, and that a net positive income may be achieved in 2021 and later on. Therefore, the Melbourne Metro Tunnel project is ensuring that the company is receiving revenue and showing signs of resilience in the harsh economic environment. The Sydney Metro project and Melbourne Metro Tunnel have both been major sources of revenue for Boral Limited during the 2019 and 2020 financial years. However, a drastic spike in expenses have overshadowed that revenue, and the current global financial environment have dramatically impacted on Boral's profitability. In contrast to the 2019 financial year, the return on assets ratio has dropped to a negative percentage of 12.37%, and the price to earnings ratio is irrelevant due to the net loss over the year. There are positive signs for the future of Boral, as an influx of construction projects have been planned by the Australian government to boost the economy out of the COVID-19 crisis. which has led to more opportunities in the construction sector, and with several projects currently being undertaken and future projects already being tendered for. The financial situation globally shows signs of small growth, with the slow and careful reopening of economic output in areas of interest including Australia, South Korea, and the United States. And most sources experienced this year should be recouped in the next few years. Thank you for listening.